Hello and welcome to another session of Google.rs. It's Byron speaking, and we're actually working ourselves towards getting OAuth 2 to work on stable with CERD, which is only possible because syntax has been improved and CERD has been improved by Eric. So thanks a lot for that. Took a while, but it's now working again. Let's keep our fingers crossed that this keeps working for a while now. At least on stable, stable is what I'm interested in because that's where you want to be. And I don't mind having this extra setup here with, CERD is complex because it supports nightly and stable. I think others will just support stable then. Anyway, remaining problem is that if you include something using the include macro, it ignores extern crate definitions and just expects all the macros that are used to be defined already. So it's probably related to the time when the include happens. I think the include happens before crates are loaded. And still the code is interpreted and the macros are interpreted, but just shouldn't be. It shouldn't interpret macros. That should be delayed. I think that's the problem here. So I really would like to prepare a question on Stack Overflow to figure out if this is a bug and include that should be fixed, like it should delay expansion of macros, or if this is anything else. First of all, let's have a look again at the include macro in the standard library and see if this is okay. It's a compiler built-in. Good. So this explains a lot. This means I can't just have a look and see if there's a way to just hack it myself. Okay, good. Fine. So let's go to Stack Overflow and ask a nice question. Tag should be Rust. And I think I'm going with this project here as it is. Git remote v. Okay. So let's try to set it up. We are on the syntax branch. Git clone branch is syntax. Here. Like this. How to reproduce. I start with that one because that's kind of important. 1, 2, 3, 4. So git clone that. Oh, not to forget branch. Branch is syntax. I think the branch doesn't matter so much. cd yup OAuth. auth2, and then we want to be sure that we are on that particular branch here. Oh, I didn't push this yet. I think I should push this. Totally. And still working. Working. One day. There we go. So now let's get this. Let's make sure people see exactly that one. Should I check it out and detach the head? If I plan to do this, and I don't really have to, well, probably I should clone that particular branch just to be sure we get all the commits that are involved. I think I can reset hard to this one, just to be sure we are there. Yeah. And that should give me everything I need. librs.in, just checking. Okay, that's the one. Sure, it's the one, but I just want to be sure. Git reset hard that. And now they are on the same state that they should be in. And now copy link to file. We have to adjust these links to contain a particular blob just to be sure. Let's check the history. That's the one. Now we want to view this one, and from here now take all the lines like that. Okay, oh wait, here we go. Good. And what do you want to do now? Cargo test. Yeah, sure. In a way, I would want to remove these things, right? Let's remove these. Because that doesn't help after all. I'm not really interested. Am I interested in building this and making this work for build? Not really, I can wait. I'm busy with cert YAML. So let's remove this. Cargo build will now fail, and test will fail as well. All right. What is this? Refactor maybe? Lib remove empty macros. Even though these made cargo build work, I think what's really needed in the long run is to make it work for cargo test as well. Yeah, so that is that. Let's push it. And we are seeing this one now. So let's change this quickly. Let me try this here. We pull the latest. Yeah, git pull and then git reset hard, that one. Boom. So once this has compiled, we should be able to reproduce this in our little test bed as well when it's done. Okay, so now build and test fail because include runs before crates are pulled in. And still expands. And still expands macros. But still expands macros. So cargo build, cargo test. So what I want to say here, include, oops, like that, expands yeah, expands macros, or where include doesn't work with macros defined in external crates. How to make include work with macros defined in external crates. Good. When using, must be a question, right? Because then people could say, well, you can't make it work, it's a bug or something, file a bug, file an issue, and then I can do this. But I really want to get some info on it. When using syntax, GitHub syntax, Oh, wait. Because it's not a stable plugin support or Rust yet, there are some things Syntax can't do. The code generated by Syntax reports errors in the generated file, not the source file. That's fine. Syntax macros cannot be embedded in macros it doesn't know about. Like, yeah, well, that's not related to my problem, I think. Yeah, I don't think so. So, when using Syntax, the recommended workflow is to use the built-in include macro to pull in a file generated by, well, I think Syntax is this something I use directly here? Yeah, cert code. Let's refer to cert code again because that's kind of what's important. So it's cert.rs cert code again. Yeah, so do we use include here? No, we don't. Where have I seen this? Isn't there some example that shows how to do it? Might have been a blog post, huh? Cert, stable, Eric, blog. Maybe. Show me the latest. Huh, come on. Everything else. Maybe that's not the right blog. Something like that. Ah, that's the one. Downside macros. Macros in macros. Okay, I don't have that though. There are many more downsides apparently. Okay, so here we go. When using cert unstable as recommended by the respective blog post, one will have to use the built-in include macro to pull in a file generated by cert generate, right? The cert code again. Let's link to it, why not? By cert code again. Yeah, let's link to to a file that shows this. Like here, right? That's one example. This, the file linked here, shows this in a more complex example, which can use the nightly, or let's say Rusty nightly as well. As well as Rusty stable. Yeah, so that is that. However, as the documentation as the docs of include suggest. However, as the docs of include suggest, it does not behave hygienically. What this means was unclear to me until I ran into the issue that macros defined in external crates. Let's give it a new line here. Defined in external crates were not defined in include time or at include time. At include time. Some tests showed that during in external crates, like let's link to it, yup, hypermark to be specific. Yup. GitHub, yup, hypermark. In an external crate, yup, hypermark, were not defined at include time. Some tests showed that even something like external crate foobar snoo will not trigger an error, which showing that it was not evaluated at all yet. The problem arises from include trying to expand macros and failing if these are coming from external crates which haven't been evaluated yet. An attempt of mine to define empty macros with the correct signature caused the the include macro to work, but the compile would fail later as include would actually expand the macro right away, which was empty at the time of the include. So now the question, is there a way to make include work with macros defined in external crates? Alternatively, can you imagine a workaround to make my particular case work? How to reproduce. Okay, there we go. And this will basically show you the errors that are there. Good. Should I put a question mark here? Why not? All right. Let's read it one more time. Oh yeah, let's give it also the metadata, huh? Cargo, well, RustC version verbose. I am on stable. Yeah, maybe I should mention. Yeah. Please note that both stable and nightly compilers show the same issues. Meta voila. I think that's it. Cargo shouldn't make a difference here. It's all about RustC, right? So that's it. Yeah, let's also use the nightly override. Nightly, it's the very latest. Stable. How does it look like? Oh, then it breaks. Wow. Like this. Oh no. Like that. Where's my nightly? I must have deleted it accidentally. Fine, and I do it again. There you go. How does it look like? Looks good. All right. So let's read it one more time. Actually, the first time. When using cert and stable as recommended by the respective blog post, one will have to use the built-in include macro to pull in a file generated by cert CodeGen. The file linked here shows this in a more complex example which can use RustC nightly as well as RustC stable. However, as the docs of include suggests, it does not behave hygienically. What this means was unclear to me until I ran into the issue that macros defined in an external crate, yeah, piper mock. Oh, there is a problem. External crate, yeah, pipe mock. Were not defined at include time. Some tests showed that during even something like extern, that during is not supposed to be there. That even something like extern crate foo bar snoo will not trigger an error at include time, showing that it was not evaluated at all. Let's make it like so, not yet evaluated at all. The problem arises from the tool trying to expand macros and failing of these coming from external crates which haven't been evaluated yet. An attempt of mine to define empty macros with the correct signature caused the include macro to work, but the compile would fail later as include would actually expand the macro right away, which was empty at the time of the include. Is there a way to make include work with the macros defining external crates? Can you imagine a workaround to make my particular case work? And then, personally, I think include should not expand macros at all, but leave that to the next compile step, which should bring in external crates. Maybe we are looking at a bug, but I'm not sure about that. Bug in Rust C, but I'm not sure about that. Good. That is it. Cool. So here's the reproduction. I'm quite confident that this will work. We are at the right commit F59, yeah. And then build and test will not work for that very reason. Awesome, so that should work now. And that is it. Cool. That's the question. 30 minutes for one question. I hope it's a good one. That should conclude this session. So thanks for watching and have a good day.